It did get really quiet. Hello. Now we've started. We're here. Oh my God, I got reverb going on. Hello, we're doing
We're
it.
doing it.
We're streaming the Dungeons and
Yay!
Dragons.
We're
Welcome.
real
I
D&D players now.
I thought we were doing Monopoly. I think I'm in the wrong game.
Wait, is that supposed to be tonight? God damn it, dude. You guys got to stop letting me schedule. Hello, welcome to the, what do I see, 9 of you out there? The 9 of those people, 5 of them are probably us, but that's okay. To anybody who is not us out there, welcome. Thank you from the bottom of my hearts for joining us tonight. It's really exciting. Are you guys nervous?
Why? What are you going to kill us with?
That's the right answer.
Yes.
So I'm a little bit nervous. I'll admit it. I'm a little bit nervous. I'll be that guy. Welcome, everybody. I'm Rich Filiberto. You guys all know my name. Folks out there probably don't. I've been playing D&D for a long time, to varying degrees with these 4 wonderful folks that have joined us tonight. And so I've dipped my toes into streaming a little bit on the internet before, but I think we've got a pretty cool groove going. I think we've got something worth sharing and putting out there in the world. So I'm really excited to take our little home squad and transition back into like the public space in the wild, wild west that is the internets and Twitch TV. So welcome to you guys. Why don't you folks introduce yourselves? Let's start at the top left. Kurt Clark.
Oh, Taylor's my top left. It's like, okay. I am Kurt Clark. How long have we been playing, Rich? Like 3 years, maybe? You and I?
Yeah, like 3.5 years. I think we started playing summer 2017.
Golly gee. So yeah, so that's been a thing. I think I started back introduced to the game in 2nd edition, where I played and fell in love with playing clerics, and yet I've not played one in 5th edition.
True.
3rd edition,
Can confirm.
I DM'd a fair bit. I guess I DM'd a fair bit in 2nd edition. 4th edition was the generation of me buying a ton of rule books and never playing a damn thing. So, and now back. Most of my play has been with this group here. So looking forward to doing the stream and, taking my mind off of the blur's day that we are all facing in terms of all the days running together. So.
Yes, it's 2021. It's a new year. We're setting a new tone for ourselves. But yeah, it's been a strange 12 months, and so this will be a good transition for at least the 5 of us. I don't know if anyone else will enjoy it. They will. I'm kidding. We're really good at D&D, you guys. Why don't we go down from the top left? Mike, the man in the dark frames.
I am Core Gray, but people call me Mike. And that Mike is a librarian who loves books, movies, music, indie rock, anything psychedelic rock. I love it. Been playing D&D, I believe, since I've been 16, but maybe I started when I was 15. Play a whole bunch of other RPG games, yes, like the ones with dice and paper, but I also play, video games too. So I'm really glad to be here, really excited to play, and I'm really excited to play Crixus, who's a very unique character.
Crixus is cool. We'll get around to talking about your characters in just a minute after we introduce the actual real characters I've assembled in the party of my life. Yeah, Mike is a librarian who loves all those things, and we love Mike, and that's awesome. Taylor.
Yes.
What's going on?
Hello, everybody. I'm Taylor. I am, if you couldn't tell, the youngest and most fresh-faced D&D player here. I'm
Ooh, the shade.
I started playing D&D in college, which was about 3-4 years ago.
3-4 months ago. You're allowed to give us crap about being the youngest because we give it to you all the time as well. So
I do. It's my time to shine. So I started playing in college with a bunch of yahoos who didn't know what they were doing. I started with 5th edition. I don't know any other edition. I've heard the tales from my friends here, but um, you know, I started playing with you guys. Gosh, it's a couple years ago now. I think. I think we passed.
So like 2 years. Yeah, we just passed like the 2 year mark that you joined our home West Marches campaign.
Yeah, yeah. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, knowing the true meaning of D&D. College was great, but it was very much we were there to just, play in the water fountains in the middle of the town and drink too much at the local taverns, and that was about it. So slaying dragons and, being an awesome druid has been great. But we have new stories and new journey, and I'm very excited.
It's true. We have an all new journey to begin together tonight. I'm excited about it, but not until we introduce, last but certainly not least, John. Why don't you say hello?
My name's John. Started playing D&D, I guess, when I was 13, probably 13, and took a bit of a hiatus through the dark years. I mean, starting family years. But yeah, I guess, man, Kurt, I didn't realize I started like right after you did with the West Marches and getting back into playing with the Rich, because I think I started not too long before my birthday in 17.
You were in the fall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was September of 17.
You were right at the front.
So, but yeah, I've been playing ever since and loving it, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting back together with old friends and meeting new ones, and yeah, it's really been a blast.
Yeah, that's like what's so cool for me. So I've been playing D&D since I was like 11 years old, and my origin story is right here in the chat. So I have to take the opportunity to tell it as we're at our first session of this new adventure. And that is to say that John's younger brother, Rob, was like my best friend from kindergarten growing up. And I used to go to Rob's house and have sleepovers, and John would come home from his D&D games with the man in the bottom left, Cora Gray, and he would tell us these stories that were like the wildest things we had ever heard in our life. And Rob and I would like laugh until our ribs hurt and our faces turned purple. And I was like, this is unbelievable. So on a like random vacation to Williamsburg, Virginia, in the Colonial Williamsburg bookstore, I found on the bookshelf the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition revised Player's Handbook and Dungeon Master Guide.
In the history section of Colonial Williamsburg.
Right, exactly. And so it was just this very weird juxtaposition of like walking around Colonial Williamsburg immersed in these fantasy books as an 11-year-old kid. And I bought 4 wooden 6-sided dice. Those are the only dice they had in the shop. They were wooden, but suffice to say, I would like bring them home and eventually begin playing with the cool kids, with John and with Mike. And so, yeah, I've been playing with these guys for decades. And Kurt and Taylor are like dear friends of my life who have only joined me recently in my like expeditions in 5th edition. And it's just a delight. So like I really am excited to have the 4 of you specifically here. Thank you all so much for joining me and putting yourselves out there. And to that end, as I'm inclined to say, why don't we talk about your characters that you're actually playing? And why don't we go in the reverse order? John, why don't you tell us what you're playing?
Damn, snake.
I know.
So I am playing Ulrich Stormbeard, which I don't know if the name gives it away, but he is a mountain dwarf. Yeah, Ulrich's had a bit of a turbulent life, and he Erkengard after town was attacked, and there was some travesty coming into town, some final attack and people dying, and it definitely shaped Ulrich. Ulrich was in a position in his first days of coming to Erkengard where he was powerless, and he vowed that he would never stand idly by and be powerless again. So it's definitely a defining moment for him. And he is a rough and tumble dwarf. He will rough around the edges and has the beard to match, to do justice to the name Stormbeard. That's what I always imagined was the crazy beard. as I look at my DM in the camera, but that's a whole nother thing.
Puts mine to shame. Ulrich Stormbeard puts this feeble thing to shame.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and he finds himself, traveling and growing up with a close group of friends who I guess will be introduced here momentarily, right?
Yeah, they will.
Hey, Rich. I know John's mentioned Erkengard a few times. Do you want to give a little talk before we go on about kind of like the setting or something like that? Or
Sure, I will.
At least where we're
probably
starting.
Make more sense. Let's put the egg before the chicken and solve that conundrum once and for all. So, our adventure will be in the world of Abrea, and it begins in the small mountain village called Erkengard. Erkengard is a secret village. It's hidden in the peaks of mountains that could compare to our Himalayas, vast, high, unapproachable, dangerous mountain range. Not a hospitable place for a village to be. But the residents of Erkengard have sheltered in these peaks for the last 1,000 years in the ruins of a civilization from the last age. Erkengard lies in the mountains called the Drakencaern Mountain peaks. And the Drakencaern peaks fall in the greater kingdom of the Sapphire Dynasty, a kingdom ruled by an iron-fisted tyrant, god empress, if you will, the embodiment, the queen of storms, Virago. As such, the residents in the village live small, and they try to stay off the radar, off the greater empire, as it were. These are people who do not want to participate in the activities of the larger kingdom at home. They want to remain where they are in this desolate, remote, dangerous place in the world where they can remain overlooked and forgotten by their imperial overlords. And that is Erkengard in a nutshell.
Whoa.
Is that appropriate? Is that appropriate context? So to that end, Ulrich, as he said, he came from somewhere else as a young dwarf after tragedy ravaged his village. He, along with a handful of other dwarves, took a pilgrimage as refugees for some months, lost in the mountain peaks until they stumbled upon this place, or rather, the inhabitants of Erkengard spotted them wandering blind and lost through the mountains and took them in, right? So from there, why don't we shift up, and Taylor, why don't you tell us about your character?
Okay, my character is Eerie Silverspark, or Eerie Vandrin. She is a gnome, a wizard, lore master, aspiring lore master. She is 3 foot tall and about 40 pounds. She's tiny, especially in Erkengard, with such a variety of tall and rather large people for the most part. She grew up in Erkengard. Her family started there, and they had a shop outside of town, or a workshop, as gnomes are tinkerers, or at least her family was. And most of her family was tragically lost in an avalanche that crushed the shop. And she was very young. She doesn't remember it, but she was on her own, and her parents were gone. The only real family that she has left is her uncle, who is the mad gnome of the village, Uncle Bez. And she has just dedicated her life to books and to the tiny little library that they have in the village. She's very close with one of the elders in the village who oversees the library and has essentially gathered all of this information. And that is what she cares about most. She wants to one day have her own library, to keep building the one that's in Erkengard, while simultaneously knowing that staying in their desolate little town, she's not going to find out very much of this information that she wants. In terms of like her style, she's very short, poofy, kind of crazy red hair. She always has a large hat on, large like witch hat, her lore master hat. She carries her staff, which is just a branch with brass bands just around different parts of it. A little point on the bottom for walking up those crazy mountain trails. She wears her mother's big sweater that has gone from white to off-white, for lack of a better term. And with her little buttons down the front. And as a wizard, she has a familiar, which is a ground squirrel, which looks like a chipmunk. His name is Denon, and he resides in her sweater at almost all times. And yeah, that's Eerie.
I am very grateful to you for incorporating a squirrel into the stream. Thank you very much. Even though it's masquerading as a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Excellent. So from there, Crixus Copperstone, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Crixus Copperstone. I'm an Earth Genasi. But I'm a unique Earth Genasi. I have a wiry body, and I do look like I'm carved from stone, like most Earth Genasi, and I have copper veins running throughout my body. But on subtle inspection, though, I have scales. And I also have other draconic features around my mouth and my eyes and my ears and my hands and my feet. They are claws. So and I don't wear boots. So that's kind of very unique. One of my most redeeming, I guess my interesting qualities that I like is that I'm very curious. And when I see something that I like, my eyes twinkle, and I have turquoise eyes. So they twinkle quite a bit because I'm very curious about things. And let's see, I have a tendency to whisper or talk to myself and walk off, which is kind of strange. But at the same time, my friends that have found me, this is sort of something that they're familiar with and they're used to at this point, and they have accepted. So that's pretty much me in an eggshell. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Excellent. Crixus is the youngest of the group, right? Like the endearing little brother, in a sense. Yeah. Crixus is interesting.
Not the tallest, but I'm the second tallest of the group.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. And so to the tallest of the group.
Oh, I guess that would be me.
It is. It is. You're right.
So my character is Angus Brighthorn. Angus is a Minotaur. He and his father moved here to Erkengard when Angus was very young. He doesn't even remember life before Erkengard. All he knows is that they lived somewhere outside the village, and that his mother was lost to the Empire. He doesn't really know much more than that, because whenever he would press his dad about it, he would just get quiet. And it was like 7-8 years ago that actually when Ulrich's family was coming to the mountains, and and Rich had mentioned like a group of villagers went to kind of usher them safely into the village when the druids of the town saw that there was this group coming towards the village, and that there was a pack of owl bears about to intercept them. Angus's dad was part of that group, and he went to distract these owl bears so that Ulrich's family could safely get to the village. And unfortunately, Angus's father was lost in what turned into a unfortunate battle. And the one thing that Angus has to remember his father by is this gleaming kind of golden ring that his father always wore around one of his horns. And one of the elders who helped recover the body, gave that from Angus's father to Angus. And Angus is pretty slender of build. He's like 6'3", 255 pounds. I think if most of you picture a Minotaur, you're picturing this big, broad, muscular brute. He's very lean. He for in D&D terms, he relies a little bit more on dex than on strength. So he's rather lithe for a Minotaur. He's the tallest in the group, but compared to other Minotaurs, he'd be pretty skinny. And as such, also the ring doesn't quite stay on his horns. He's a bard, and he's actually a College of Valor bard. So it's all about the tales of heroes. And he's probably just as interested in books as Yuri, but he's not as really doesn't care about the facts as much because as long as the story does its job and inspires heroism, that's good enough. And he's hoping that he can kind of grow into the ring. That by performing heroic deeds, one day he'll find that the ring actually fits him, and he'll do his father proud. So he's just kind of adventuring and living in the town with his kind of semi-adopted siblings, the rest of the group here.
Excellent. Cool. So yeah, we have these 4 young, eclectic individuals, all of whom essentially were raised in this isolated village that is Erkengard. And as I said earlier, Erkengard is a village built in the ruins of a civilization from days gone past. Much of it actually exists below ground. The Sapphire Dynasty is enormous and vigilant, and the mere possibility that the smoke of a fire might be seen on a clear day from far away keeps much of the residents of this tiny community very secretive in the ways that they live their lives. And so it is a stark place, a dangerous place, a place where only the hard survive. There's less than 100 villagers in Erkengard. There were days in the past where there were more, but civilization is hard to maintain in a place in the world like this. And so it is that the animals, the plants, the things around them are vital to the survival of the community. And that's why every year, with the coming of the spring, herds of ibex, these powerful mountain goats that are prolific in these high peaks of this range, they return from their migrations over the winter, and this is their route back to their breeding grounds in the spring, or their spawning grounds, I should say, that brings them right past the village. It's an annual tradition that the hunters of this community gather, and they go out to take as many of these ibex as they can in this window where they're abundant and easily hunted, because the winter has been hard on them and they're pushing to their location. And as such, that's where we pick up tonight. As the wind blows and the camera blows along with it, we take in the sight of the sprawling mountain range. Clouds hang puffy and white in the sky. The sun, thin, shining dim through it, and a biting cold wind racing down off the peaks brings us to a rocky outcropping where we see these 4 youths from the village. The tall, lean Minotaur, the draconic Earth Genasi, the wild-haired dwarf, and the heavily bundled witch-hatted gnome, tiny as she may be. And the 4 of you are gathered together, in some parts lamentation and frustration, as the hunters have made their way from the village. They left this very morning, and from the outcropping, this cliff that you stand on now overlooking, you can see where the trail drops down into one of the valleys and begins to rise up over the far peak on the other side of this valley in front of you. And as you watch, you can just make out the tiny movement of the hunters as they head out. And the 4 of you, despite how capable you've proven yourselves as you've come of age, despite your competence and your courage, your wisdom and your ferocity, and your height, you've been left behind. And as the wind whips around the 4 of you, and you watch the last of the hunters kind of clearing the far side of the mountain peak across the valley, are you guys having a conversation? Is there anything we overhear?
Gosh.
Is this unseasonably cold, Rich? Like in terms of the weather that we're experiencing?
It's late enough in the spring that like some of the snows have begun to melt and open up the passes, but it is still like a biting cold wind for as late as it is. The weather has begun to warm, and it's kind of shifted back on you a little bit.
You know, I thought we had proven ourselves enough. Owl bears, crazy elk monsters, skeletons,
Cave bears,
and we still get left behind.
winter wolves.
Yeah.
But we get to enjoy the mountains and the horizon. That's so nice.
We can do that from anywhere in the mountains.
This
Been
is
doing
shite.
that for 20 years.
Yeah, really. Well, not that long, but I'm a couple years off. But and I thought by now that I guess it's no use complaining about it now. They're gone, and we're here. So what are we gonna do?
Well, provided that they do come back successfully with a hunt, we can perhaps start to just, prepare, this camp for, skinning of pelts and preparing of meats. And, there is going to be,
Angus,
if they're successful.
you're really telling me that that's what you want to spend the day doing? Preparing for
forward to it.
skinning
Very-
meats? Have we checked on Uncle Bez today? What time of day is it? Morning?
It's late afternoon. You guys, you were part of like the caravan leaving the village in the morning, and it took a couple of hours for them to kind of make the distance where you were. And I think you guys have yes.
So if we joined them in the caravan, if we took the time to wake up, pack, get on the caravan, travel, 2 hours to the outcropping? An hour?
Yep.
And then they just are wait here. We're gonna keep going. Were there any expectations about what they wanted? Maybe it's a surprise party. Are you guys in on this? Because this is the makings of a surprise party.
Oh my gosh.
This seems very odd.
Is
Well,
anybody's birthday coming?
I'm
Yeah, I was
going
gonna
to
say
for it.
whose birthday is it?
That's what I'm going to do. I think it's a perfect opportunity for waiting. I'm going to forage for herbs and maybe berries and things like that. Maybe we can find some things that are tasty and sweet, or
Why don't you make
maybe
a
some
survival
winter
check,
berries.
Crixus? Okay.
Oh, okay.
First roll of the stream.
Oh boy.
First roll
First
of the
roll.
stream. No pressure.
Come on.
Yay. I'm very excited.
Yes.
Ooh, 19's
That's
very good.
great.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I spammed a bunch of D100s to push the chat for Twitch, and I definitely rolled a 100 on the second one. It was like, God damn it. I've ruined all my luck for the whole night. These guys are going to walk all over me. Here we go. 19, Crixus. As your friends are kind of talking and you hear Angus considering this might be a surprise party, you've spent your lifetime up here. You know what there is to find, and you are able to find some bright green winter berries. They're actually called Frostberries. They're common here in the Drakencairns, and they have a bitter kind of flavor with a very sweet aftertaste. They're actually quite delicious when you get a good volume of them. So you find a bush that has not been cleaned by the birds, and you're able to gather yourself up a solid pouchful.
Oh, great. And so I start gorging myself on them because that was the whole point.
Crixus.
We'll teach Crixus about sustainability some other session.
And now there's some frostberries around my mouth.
Do
Um,
I know of any landmarks that are close by, other
Oh
than
yeah.
where we are right now?
Absolutely. I mean, this outcropping, you guys have probably camped out here many times over the course of your lives, during the summer season especially. But the Alagi camp is not far from here. It's only about an hour. You had passed kind of around the corner of it, but you could see the ridge, Erkengard's peak itself is right up behind you. You kind of traveled around the peak to a different side of it as the group head down into the pass.
So,
Gotcha.
if it's late afternoon, are we anticipating they would be overnighting somewhere as well?
They'll be back in a few days.
Okay.
Yeah. This
Okay.
is like a 3-day trip for them, right? I just imagine like it's one of the most exciting things that happens every year, right? And you guys, like, why wouldn't you escort them out to leave? Many people do, you know. A lot of like the wives and many of the children do, and the children are like led back by one of the elders, right? But you four are able to hang out.
It's the March of the Penguins.
Right.
But they won't be back for, you expect, like 4 to 5 days.
I mean, are they
So-
expecting us to wait for them the
No,
entire
they
time
can't.
here?
We,
They
we
can't.
should go visit
I
the
mean-
Alagi camp.
They won't know if we leave. Because we just saw them. You said something like we saw the last of them, like crest over the last hill. And I imagine Angus is like,
Let's go.
like he doesn't want to be the one to suggest that we leave because tradition. But like,
I think Holder
Yeah.
sees this and just starts not.
Gary starts like shaking her head and like, oh no.
It's the first instance of the unspoken player language, so it begins. Now we're playing D&D, you know. So I think as you guys are kind of like acknowledging each other, you hear like this cry of like a falcon in the wind, much clearer and higher pitched than that noise.
I grab onto the gnome because she has a habit of being taken away by not even large creatures, medium creatures.
Did we get those weighted shoes yet? Am I attached to somebody? Weren't we talking about having a harness?
In terms of that sentiment, Angus would take like a couple steps closer to Eerie as he scans the sky.
Okay, this shrill falcon's cry pierces the like sound of the consistent sound of the wind kind of carving down over the mountain, and we see the lean minotaur take a few steps towards the tiny gnome, like protectively, right? His horns rotating with his head as he's kind of eyeing the surroundings, and you see the silhouette of just an average size, like normal falcon in the wind, and it's kind of like floating in at you guys, dropping in. And it circles like once over the camp and then drops and like lands lightly, its talons clicking against this boulder that it's standing on. I think its head kind of like rotates at you.
Does it look like it would be of danger to the gnome? Is it too
It's
small?
tinier than the gnome.
Oh, great.
It's one of the few
Ooh.
things that's smaller than the gnome
Oh,
is.
okay.
We need
How-
like salted meat chaff for the gnome, you know, so when she gets out, boom, you know, all this meat just shoots off, like decoy meat, so something will put her down.
Unfortunately, I, as a bard, I can't cast decoy meats until next level.
You'll get it soon. You'll get it soon.
I'll get decoy meats soon. So,
Does that make salted meats or just more gnomes? You know what I mean? Is it like a image or yeah?
I should make like a
gosh.
fake owl to sit like on top of my staff. That would scare away
Oh yeah,
things, right?
it's kind of like
like
the
a big
corn
scarecrow.
owl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gnome-sized scarecrow. How far
So the-
away is it from us?
Maybe like 20 feet, 15 feet. It's right on like a boulder, kind of at the base of the outcropping behind you.
I'm gonna like look at Angus and everybody and kind of like hold my staff out and like start slowly like moving towards it. Not like aggressively, but like to,
Okay.
like, you know, wanting it to kind of like jump on my staff type of thing.
Okay. And I think as you're like walking towards it and you like extend the staff, it like tilts its head the other way, like, and it hops, like, flaps its wings once, and it begins to like surge and shift. The wings like grow, and the feathers like start to recede, and you see this heavy coat of fur as the form that like hits the ground is no longer like a tiny falcon, but a massive 350-pound furred creature. It's got this flat, sloping kind of head with these intelligent green eyes and these two heavy horns rolling up from the top of its head straight, right? You see the familiar medicine pouch slung over his shoulder and the black claws on his white fur, old, worn teeth in his mouth as he's like,
Yuri like immediately pulls her staff back and like, let's pretend that didn't happen, and like I totally knew what was going on kind of moment.
And I think that there's a slow kind of chuckling, like, well met, younglings. This is Rogosh, sometimes called the Eagle Eye. He's an Alagi, rare race in the world, but not so in Erkengard, as there is a small community of these Alagi that have endured here for the last 1,000 years. And so this massive, hulking, almost Sasquatch of a creature, his horns in front of him, his fur just beginning to shift in tone from the white of the winter to the greenish brown tone that it takes on in the summer. But it's thick and puffy, and Rogosh is like, how fare you, younglings?
We're fine, I guess.
Yeah,
He like,
we were just watching our.
The excitement. We were just watching the excitement leave while we stayed here. But other than that,
Yeah, exactly.
everything's fine.
Yep.
and he makes this kind of grimacing face that the four of you would recognize as a smile, but the five of us might be like, whoa, that's... and I think he's like, you are cubs no longer.
Keep saying that.
You have grown much in the last year, young Eerie, but there is much growing yet to do. We have not taught you all that you must know.
I know.
Why? What dreams do you have of your future? You wish you would go with them on this day?
Honestly,
Absolutely.
Does Rogosh have any pouches on him? Or
Oh yeah, he's got like a big heavy like medicine pouch like strapped over his shoulder, but then he also has this like rough like almost hempen rope belt that has all these varying kind of like leather pouches and cloth, worn and shaggy. There's a bundle of like little bones and a copse of feathers kind of tied to them.
that's great. So while Rogosh is talking with Eerie, Crixus is making his way around his back and stuffing his hands into those pouches and bags and feathers and looking for anything that might be tasty and sweet.
I think we see Rogosh like turn and peer down at the young Janasai, whose tail long flickered behind him, and Rogosh is just kind of like, this one. This one, young Crixus. And he pulls out like the drawstring and kind of detaches it and just hands it over to you. You will like these.
I start digging through it, looking through all the little items or whatever he has.
As you start like pulling it open, you see there's like these small like shells. They're actually snail shells, and you recognize them because Rogosh taught you about these years ago. They're a delicacy harvested from like deep within some of the caves here in the mountains. But they're like the sweet snails of the underwater lakes here in the Drakencaern Mountains. They're delightful.
If there's anything sweet and I'm aware of it, then they're gone.
They're like candy. They're like candy.
Crunch, crunch, crunch the shells, whatever.
Yeah,
Are you
supposed to slurp the snail out of the shell, or do you just like go like crunch? What's the
Yeah.
appropriate way?
My people eat the shells.
Ulrich just shies and motions to Crixus. on the heels of complaining, we're not treated like the adults.
I'm complaining, and I just keep on eating my shells. You guys complain so much. That's what I do. I keep on. This is great. Do you want a snail?
No, thank you.
What is your rush to find gray in your beard, young Ulrich?
There is no rush for the gray, but it's the excitement along the
Excitement. I craved it as a young one when I was but a cub. I've traveled far. As far as any in this village, I've seen too much excitement in my years, Ulrich. Too much. And he like sits quiet for a minute, pensive, and just says, my words do not do justice to the notion. But when I was your age, an elder told me a thing I could not then believe. She said a day would come when I would cease to dream of my future. My nights would be filled only with memories of my past. And on that day, I should look to all the cubs to teach what I had learned, because it would be the first sign of the twilight of my life. I hope we taught you enough. It's been long years now that I dream only of the days of my youth. And I smell a storm in the wind. It frightens me.
Ulrich kind of like looks towards the prevailing wind, kind of sniffs. It's literal. I mean, it's a kid, right? He doesn't understand all this.
What is it you sense is coming?
When the birds and the squirrels whisper to me, they whisper of a storm. In this part of our world, storms can be dangerous things.
Will the hunting party be safe?
He peers across to the far pass and he says, I will be sure they are. I can take to wing and watch ahead, so I must go. But I wanted to see you all before I left.
I'm glad we stayed here.
Is there anything?
I give Rogosh a big hug. And I say, goodbye, Rogosh.
Oh.
He hugs you and he like pats you on your head and he says, you are a special boy, Crixus. You have brought hope to many. I hope I have taught you enough. And we have time for me to teach you yet more. Goodbye, my boy. Enjoy your snails.
Eerie kind of like, staying quiet, like rolling her eyes every couple of minutes. Kind of like solemnly, like, Rogosh, do you think the dynasty is going to find us?
And he like stops, right? He's walked to like the edge of the cliff and he stops. He's very wide. He's built like a dwarf, but bigger in proportions, right? He's not like a 7 foot tall. He's probably like 5'6", but easily like 350, These huge shoulders and this broad back, and the pouches kind of like jangle and jingle, the bag shifting on his hip as he rotates around and looks at you, and he says, there is no question that they will. It is merely a matter of when. I hope it will not be in your lifetime. Someday, you four may wear the mantle of Elder. It is one which sits heavy on our shoulders. Hard decisions. I have faith. I must go.
Goodbye. Be safe.
And so with that, he turns and he kind of like leaps off the cliff, like extending his arms, and like they grow into like these massive wings. And unlike the tiny falcon he flew on, he shifts to the form of like an eagle, a great golden eagle, this huge wingspan. As you see him like, you hear the sound of his wings like cutting through the air as he rises up, slips into the clouds, vanishing out of sight.
Out of curiosity, did he like leap off the cliff and then change? Like, did he have that much confidence that it would work?
That's the way that high-level druids do it.
He basically he's a god. No, I'm just kidding. He's not quite as dramatic as a bard, but he's got some flourish. He's got some flourish, Angus. You know.
He can change into animals at will. There's flair there, whether you want it there or not.
Okay, so you guys want to head up to the Alagi camp? You want to head back to town? What was your plan here?
You guys want to go visit the Alagi camp? It's like late afternoon, right? And we go hang out there.
I think so. Maybe we can find something along the way and show up the hunting party. See Ulrich smile.
With our luck.
The four of you turn, and you begin making your way back through the thin passes and the small trails up here in the mountains, leading to the camp of the Alagi, these Sasquatch-like creatures like Rogosh, your druid elder. And so as the four of you start walking, I could ask you this question, but I have it written down. I don't actually have to.
Oh, is this a passive perception question, Rich?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Might be. Might be.
Ulrich just
No, it's
keeps
not going to
walking.
be.
We must count on
Angus.
our observant friend.
Angus and Crixus.
Oh.
The pair of you, as you're walking, you like peer up. You feel the wind beginning to like really pick up now, biting into your back, whipping your cloak around you. And as you're kind of like peering around at the passes, you see this bunch of like scrub brush. There's small brush kind of like growing in some of these places, like the berry bushes, the frostberry bushes that Crixus found. And this one kind of like setting of boulders has a few of these like scrubby little bushes on top of them. And you see, peering at the four of you from within this bush, these two luminescent green orbs. That's all you can see behind it. And there's a moment where like whoosh, they vanish and then kind of like reappear, peering at you.
Oh God.
Before like they vanish again, turning away.
I will say, stop. And Angus will stop.
I'm gonna take up my sling and sling a rock at it.
Oh. Eerie at the front of the group stops.
Okay. Angus is like, stop. Eerie stops. And Crixus, quick as can be, is just like David. There's a leather sling spinning around his head. Why don't you make an attack roll with disadvantage?
Okay. Give me... Oh, there it is.
I will give you nothing, but take from you everything. I'm sorry.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Nice warning shot, Crixus.
It's always a warning shot.
You hear this like ricocheting, like crack, as the stone like snaps into another boulder, scattering away.
Is there any movement from within the bushes, within the shrubberies?
As now all four of you guys are looking up, you see
Does this seem like a good ambush point? Like if I was evaluating where I am, do we have the low ground? Do we...
Yeah, you're a little bit lower than this. I want you to imagine like a very kind of thin footpath, the ground pitching like down away from you hard to your right. It's not a sheer cliff, but it's a dramatic slope, and it's a much more gradual pitch, like up to your left side, up into the mountain. And in front of you, off to the left a little bit, about like 30 feet away, off the top of the trail is where these bushes are. And as you guys are peering up, Ulrich, you peer around. Like, is this a good ambush point? Like, you don't think there's forces here, but certainly, like, it's a tough position. You're wide out in the open. It's not a lot of cover or anything like that. But up from behind one of the boulders, you guys see it as it comes now. Sleek and massive, black furred, smooth as can be, these glimmering, luminescent green eyes with these two tentacles kind of whirling from up above its shoulders like a giant predatory mountain cat, kind of like a black panther, but with these massive tentacles and these spiked flanges at the end of them. And it's just like...
Another
Initiative! Let's roll initiative.
Yeah.
Dang. What kind of range you looking at?
It's 30 feet away. Roughly. You know.
Okay.
So Taylor knows what this is. Does Erie know what this is?
I don't know. Does he? Does she? I'm sorry. Does she?
I mean, do they have these in the books at the library?
Sure. Why don't you roll a nature check?
Okay. Nature. Got that. 14.
Ooh, 14. Yes, you definitely know exactly what it is.
Okay. I kind of yell, Displacer Beast!
Crixus is like,
Angus will be like, I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. Who's missing in
But
the
it
initiative?
sounds
Ulrich,
awesome.
what'd you roll?
Oh,
Nice.
oh, I didn't click on the token. Sorry.
Gotcha, you're on 17. So, Angus, what's your dex?
19. Oh, sorry. 1 second. My dex is 16.
16. You are, in fact, faster than a displacer beast. Faster than a speeding displacer beast. Angus Brighthorn, you are up on 19. What would you like to do?
I will take the short bow off of my back, draw forth an arrow, and try to pierce said displacer beast with said arrow.
Excellent.
I'm
Go
talking
for
slow and deliberately as I look through other options I might have, but I think that is what I will go with.
Okay, that's very fair. Very fair.
And
indeed.
sorry, I didn't hear if you had responded to John. How far away are we from it?
It's about 30 feet.
Oh, that's plenty for a short bow. 16 AC.
16 hits.
Wonderful.
Amazingly, you see the arrow as you fire it, Angus, and it sails through the displacer beast, and you watch it like vanish into it, and then from behind where it looks like it is, you hear as it like howls out in pain, and the image of it's like flickers and like reappears behind it.
So it's like I hit something behind what I was looking at.
Yeah,
Kind of.
it's a displacer beast. It's not exactly where it was. I'm playing coy.
No.
Sorry.
I'm trying
I
to
know.
play coy as well.
I know. I'm
So
apologizing to all the
damage-
people like watching us. Like, yeah, we know what a displacer beast does, you idiot.
I hit it for 5 points of piercing damage.
5. Hey now. Okay. You hear this like it like howls and screams, and a lot of you see it like shift and shimmer. It's clearly able to project an image of itself, so it's not standing where it really looks like it is. But now that Angus has hit it, drawing first blood, it looks like you know exactly where it is. You see the arrow sticking out of it. Angus, that was your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
Oh, what the heck? As my bonus action, I am going to take out my war horn and play just a trill of a few notes onto it, which Ulrich recognizes as his theme song. And using my bardic inspiration, I give Ulrich a bardic inspiration die, so he can use a 6-sider in the next 10 minutes of game time to add it to an attack roll, saving throw, but because I'm a College of Valor bard, he can also add it to damage or his armor class.
So
Oh
awesome.
yeah, awesome. The combat inspiration is really strong. So Hallrick, you recognize the like.
No, it's
Yeah.
is
You guys-
actually
Yeah.
yeah.
Join us here on Twitch where you can watch Kurt Clark compose music live. Angus, that's your action. That's your bonus action. You want to move? You good?
I am going to position myself next to Eerie.
Okay, got it.
Because this thing has things that look like tentacles, and things that look like tentacles tend to grab things that look like gnomes from
Yep.
a wide variety of experiences that we've had.
Yeah.
That's super fair. That's 19. Did we lose John?
Yeah,
no.
I thought that John disappeared.
Oh no,
Oh no.
we lost a John. Hey, sorry for technical difficulties. We'll be right back as we try to get John back in. Oh, there he is. Is he cool?
Yay.
No?
John. Oh no.
He was just blown away by Bardic. He was
Really?
so
You inspired him.
inspired in a bardic manner that he had to take a moment to compose himself.
Love it.
To that end, I'm just going to have the Displacer Beast go. We'll just keep pushing for a minute while we wait for John to get back reconnected here. Okay, this massive, hulking, predatory cat, and as it leaps and begins, like, barreling down at you guys, you realize, like, oh my god, it's got 6 legs. What? And it comes, like, sailing off of this rock, the tentacles flailing for the fast cow that just put an arrow into it. Wow! It, like, it howls at you. Angus, what's your AC?
My AC, if by which you mean armor class, is he probably hasn't put up a shield yet, so 14.
Okay. With an armor class of 14, the 11 misses, 19 hits. One of the tentacles, like, whoo, and you just lean out of the way. You Neo that shit. It sails over your head. The second one smashes down squarely, like rolling over your shoulder hard in the back. And you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage from the force of the blow, and another 4 piercing as the spikes on the end of it, like, dig through into your shoulder.
Hey, John.
That.
I am so sorry. I'm on my personal hotspot on my phone. My internet just completely dropped out.
That's okay. That'll happen, man. Technical difficulties.
So I hope the connection's good enough that it's working out. So
I was just afraid my bardic inspiration was too overwhelming for you, and I apologize.
something
intense.
Kurt Clark does too overwhelming. Can't even imagine.
No chance. No chance. That is the Displacer Beast's turn. So, Hallrick, what you missed, Angus shot the Displacer Beast. It seemed to materialize in its real position, at which point it, like, leapt in 2 strides. You realize it has 6 legs. It leaps down off this rock, 1, 2, and smashes Hallrick with a tentacle, which brings us right on to Eerie Vandrin on 16. You're up.
Can I mark my
Okay.
hit points?
It hit Angus.
You didn't get hit. It hit Angus.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. I got skipped. I was on 17.
Oh, you're correct. I forgot that we did your initiative. So I'm sorry, Eerie. Hallrick goes now.
I'm gonna take a swing, one-handed with the Warhammer. And where is it now in relation to Ulrich?
It's like right in front of Angus. I figure you guys were like roughly single file. Angus was kind of first. He stepped back towards Eerie, so it's only a couple feet away from you. It's 5 feet away.
All right, so I definitely step up, and I think he goes in and takes his special Warhammer off his back and swings one-handed.
12 does not hit.
Maybe 2 hands, Ulrich.
I like my shield. You can't blame me. Did you actually give me Bardic Inspiration or no?
I did. Yes.
All right, so I'm going to throw a d6 on that.
Okay. Ulrich using Angus's inspiration on the
15?
attack roll, so the 12 turns into a 15 hits. So we see Ulrich step forward, and what he has is this black metal warhammer of adamantine, and it's got like this small octagonal kind of head and a long, thin adamantine, like black kind of iron rod. So with one hand, he's like swinging it quickly, and we see him like smash it down onto this thing. Go ahead and roll damage.
Nice.
Right, and it kind of like winces, recoiling, like wheeling, the tentacles like sailing over your head. 12 points of damage is pretty brutal. Ulrich, that's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
I'm gonna hold off.
Okay,
I'll stay where I am.
that'll bring us right to Eerie Vandrin.
Okay, so being pretty close to this thing, knowing what I'm getting into already, Eerie takes her staff and kind of holds it out in front of her and like sweeps it over her head and casts mage armor on herself.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And
do we see anything when that happens? Is there
there's
like
kind of like a
effect?
sweeping like green sparkling effect that kind of like goes over her.
Awesome. Yeah, we see these like sparkles like glimmer and vanish as Eerie conjures the magic protecting herself. That's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
That's it. She's just gonna kind of brandish her staff in front of her protectively.
Okay.
In there.
Crixus, you're like standing at the other side of Eerie, about 10 feet away from this thing. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm going to cast Aid on my friends. And,
What does that look like?
well, I was just about to tell everybody. And once again, glitter. We're talking about glitter today, folks, but it's turquoise glitter, and it momentarily appears around everybody. And you get 5 hit points.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to move to get behind the displacer beast. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to like step up into kind of the rough rock, right? And it's normally difficult terrain, but I don't think it is for you. Or we've been through this. Yes, it is. You like scrabble up into the rock, right? Loose kind of scree and gravel is like kicking loose underneath your feet. So it's difficult terrain, but you're able to like dig yourself up and get a footing above it, right? So you're now flanking.
And those are temporary hit points, right, Crixus?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool, which brings us back around to Angus Brighthorn. You were up on 19.
I am going. I feel bad because this would be the 3rd consecutive round where magics were cast and no damage was done. But I don't feel that bad about it. So I am going to cast Bane.
Oh,
Nice.
I would try to do a Bane impression right now. But,
What do I have? Charisma saving throw?
it gets a charisma saving. It gets to attempt a charisma saving throw. Yes.
Charisma.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
It's not a charming displacer beast.
yeah. So as I cast it, a kind of looks like a blackish ribbon extends from my hands and kind of like wraps around and orbiting its face and then like disappears into its skin, and it looks a little bit confused and upset, and so now it must subtract D4 from any attack rolls or saving throws that it makes.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Brutal.
Bane
It
is
has
amazing.
been baned. Bane is really good stuff. Yep. Okay, Angus, that's your action. Movement bonus action.
I feel like I want to save my bardic inspiration, so
Okay, cool. Displacer beast goes. It is going to heave tentacles at Ulrich, who just battered it with that brutal hammer. 1325.
25.
Okay, 25 hits Ulrich. Ulrich's got a shield and chainmail on, right?
Yep.
So the shield comes up and like batters the first tentacle way, but I think you like turn and the second one's like bam, just smashes right into the side of your head.
I'm assuming AC 21 would still hit. Best case Bane
It
snare.
would. Yes. I was just looking at that too.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
wait.
Yep. We all just went through that.
Oh, right. My bad.
No, you're fine.
I figured.
No.
Yeah, I figured
Yeah.
I was definitely high enough. So You take 10 points of damage,
All right.
Ulrich. 8 bludgeoning, 2 piercing, as the spikes kind of drag across your jaw under the beard, and your head's like rattling a little bit from the force of this thing's blow. That brings us to your turn, Ulrich, on 17.
Revenge.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, so I think he's pissed off. He's going to throw his shield down and go two-handed on this thing. He just whips the shield to the ground. You son of a bitch. You know, and then two hands, takes a swing.
Your attack is unfortunately at disadvantage as it is displaced once again. So 11, you're like,
Does the
axe?
Is he flanking to counter the
I am
disadvantage?
flanking.
Aha, you guys are flanking. Gotta love 5th edition rules. Your hammer like vanishes into the illusory duplicate of it, and you're like, what? And then you feel it connect, crack, underneath. So you can go ahead and roll damage.
All right.
Nice.
Well, that sucked.
Oh,
I'm going to come in with the action surge now. and
action surge, baby.
Take a second attack.
Second attack.
Let's see. Two-handed
Ulrich's
again.
squaring his feet. Urgh. Now you are at full advantage because you have got it to stop displacing. But 10 misses. It's further away than like you thought it was, right? It's like in the other side of like that space, and you step in towards it and like extend far, but it's too fast, right? It like pulls itself out of the way. That's your action. Action surge, bonus action.
No, that's it.
Okay, Eerie Vandrin, you're up on 16.
Okay. All right. How close am I within 5 feet of it?
You can be, but I'm assuming not. I'm assuming you're like 10 feet
Yeah,
away.
Erie would prefer to not be right up.
Don't blame you.
At least a few arms length distance away. Okay, so Erie's going to
Social distance from the displacer beast to get it.
Yeah, it is not masked. It is not masked.
Can't
Erie
tell
is
the
going
distance
to
anyway.
point her staff and cast Witch Bolt at the displacer beast.
Witch bolt. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
17.
singing already. Night 1. 17 connects. We see Erie's staff like getting like this whip of lightning arcs out of the top of it and connects.
What would normally be lightning, she extends and kind of like thrusts her staff out, and instead of lightning comes like a rock. Bludgeoning damage just connects.
Oh, wow. Because Eerie is a ferocious lore master, she's got tricks. And her tricks backfired badly. So the rock like comes sailing out of like the top of the staff, materializing as conjured by her magic. And I think we see the displacer beast like its tail like is fluffed up like a crazy cat now. But one of the tentacles kind of swats it out of the way, and it takes 1 point of negligible bludgeoning damage.
Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I get for showing off my skills.
It's brutal. In the test drives of Eerie, she rolled like a monster.
Really?
I was
Really?
terrified. So, Eerie Vandrin, that is your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
That's it. I'll maybe take like one more
Okay.
5 foot
Step back.
from the-
Okay, Crixus Copperstone, you're up on 13, my friend.
I take a swing with my warhammer.
Dueling warhammers. One-handed, two-handed,
Just
you
one
have
hand.
shield out?
Because I have
Okay.
my shield out right now.
Got it.
That's what I'm doing.
Sling hanging comfortably off his belt again. Crixus is much more simple warhammer, a heavy head on the wooden haft, swings down and it connects. Crack! You like smash down into the thing's back hip. Oh, for 11 points of bludgeoning damage. It felt that one. Like it wheels over you, its tail now like wishing wildly all over the place. Crixus, that's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
That's it.
Okay, Angus Brighthorn, you're up on 19.
I think I've already dropped. I probably dropped my bow to cast Bane last round, so now I'm pulling out my shield off my back. It's always kind of a chore because like there's the horns in the way, so it's like how do I,
That's magnificent.
So I take off the shield. I take out my cutlass and attack the beast with my blade.
Excellent. What'd you roll?
18.
18 connects as with the three of you guys now surrounding it. Eerie, good 15 feet away from you all behind. You peer over your shoulder. Nothing snatched her up yet. And so the cutlass, swinging with precision, carves into it. Go ahead and roll damage. 4 points of piercing damage. We see like a slash, bright red, as the crimson blood like splays out of it onto the snow and the rock beneath. That's your action, Angus. Movement bonus action.
As the bonus action, having seen Ulrich get walloped as I did, I take out the war horn and I do the do, which is the call of the Stormbeards, granting him once again bardic inspiration, which he may use as he chooses.
Ulrich, you are re-inspired, which brings us to...
Is John still online? I just want to check.
Still with us? Did he bail again?
Okay.
Dude, don't even play like that. I'm like, holy crap, you guys don't see me.
No, we're just making fun of you because you hate your theme song.
It's only the beginning. No, it's only the beginning. There's a whole composition.
I know, it's going to build out really wonderfully by the end of this campaign. To that end, as the Displacer Beast turn rolls in, I think you guys feel the wind now whipping around you, and you feel like these drops of cold kind of rain, the first like dribblings of rain kind of pulling out of the sky, and I think we hear a crack, a peal of thunder in the distance as the Displacer Beast, now like ferocious, crouching down low. The tentacles are like lashing out in every direction. So there's going to be one for Crixus, and then this one's for Angus. Crixus, 16, does that hit?
Mm-hmm.
Subtract D4.
Oh, subtract a D4.
It's a miss. Oh, it only needs is 1.
Okay, it missed. It's like snaps the tentacle out, and your shield comes up like blocking it out of the way. Meanwhile, Angus, you're able to like easily sidestep it. The Displacer Beast completely ineffective this round. Ulrich Stormbeard, you're up.
Two-handed again. I think you just see him like dig his feet in and wind up. Actually, what?
Okay. Nope, you're fine. You're fine. I forgot. 20 hits because it's a straight attack. You're flanking, but you have disadvantage because it's displacing. It's the same kind of thing where the hammer like vanishes into the illusory copy of this thing, and you feel it connect after the fact. Go ahead and roll damage. It is not happy anymore.
Uh-oh.
Thought you guys were going to be easy pickings.
Yeah, 4-on-1. Smart move, beast. Displacer beast, more like beast can't count.
You reached for it. And let me just tell you, Kurt, you got it when you reached for it. You got it.
I wasn't letting that one go.
Ulrich. That's your action, Ulrich. You have movement and a bonus action. You want to do anything else?
No, I'm staying put.
Eerie, Vandrin, you're up on 16.
All right, with the Witch Bolt still
Witch Bolt!
Witch Bolt! I will just fire again. And taking in the storm, I will revert back to lightning damage.
I just want to apologize to the viewers, but that's Pavlovian, and we have a wizard with Witch Bolt, so every time she casts it, I'm very likely to make that sound.
Wait till somebody rolls a natural 20.
I'll try to repress it.
I got dirty 20.
So, I think once you hit with the attack roll, you do not need to roll again. You are still attached, and so you just roll damage, right?
I think so. Oh, yeah. Yep, I just used my action to deal.
So you hit the first time. Go ahead and roll damage.
Come on, better this time.
And we're doing bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Well, we're back to lightning because the storm.
Oh. Can you shift round to round on one spell? We can research that, but for now, you can. And so we see this arc of lightning surge off the top of her little staff into this thing for 10 points of damage. Okay, Eerie, that was your action. You got movement and a bonus action.
I'm good. It stays bludgeoning.
Okay.
Noted.
It does stay bludgeoning.
Noted.
Okay. Thought so. So Erie's ability as a lore master wizard, I'm going to just stop down for a second here for anybody who cares. It's pretty much all by the book stuff, but Erie's lore master is a UA. It's an old UA too. Never got published in any of the books, but basically she can supplement the type of elemental damage she's doing with spells.
Which also should be force damage, not bludgeoning.
Bludgeoning. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's still like a spectral rock smashing into this guy for 10 points of force damage. He's hurt. Erie, that was your turn. Crixus, you're up on 13.
I swing my hammer again. I'm 16. Is a 16 hit?
No, because it's back to displacing again. So you're flanking and it's displacing. It's a normal attack, so technically you only rolled a 10.
Okay.
I'm sorry. 10 misses. You like swing through the spectral dupe of it, and they're like, nothing there. Bonus action?
Nothing.
Okay, Angus, you're up on 19.
I will once again cutlass it, because that's a verb.
It is now.
Hey, man.
You're the bard.
Verbify it.
24.
Verbify it.
Yay.
I'm assuming 24 will hit. Does 24 hit? I'm going to be that
24 does hit. Yes. Does hit. It does.
8 points of piercing damage.
Excellent.
Take that.
So you like drive the saber down into this thing, like piercing right into its ribs, and we hear it like blood now like choking around its mouth, like frothing up on the white teeth covered in blood as you stab down into it. This thing is pretty battered at this point. Angus, that's your action. Bonus action?
Ulrich, you still have your bardic inspiration, correct?
I do.
Because that was a really good song, so I'm glad to hear you're earworming it. So I will be done.
Okay.
Actually, I need to research a spell called Earworm because I'm a bard. And just
go for it.
Okay.
Crixus, you can take an attack of opportunity at the Displacer Beast as it moves. It like steps out of your threat range and circles around. Angus, you could take one as well, I guess, actually.
Does it look like it's trying to flee?
It's definitely moving. It's hard to interpret.
If I hit? I don't know anymore.
6. Okay. Yes, you hit with the 16 because of the same thing. 23. Angus, you hit. So you stab it once. Crixus, you smash it with the hammer. Both you guys can roll damage. 6 from Angus, 10 from Crixus. We hear the hammer crack into it. Bone shatters. Angus stabs it. Oof. And with that, it will attack you, Ulrich. Yeah, it sucks, this guy, right?
Seriously.
18, 13. Wait, 1d4, minus 1d4.
Oh, you son of a...
Oh.
17.
17 hits.
When I rolled 17, this is now going to be my thing, I guess. So,
Singing.
copyright infringement, my bad. The tentacle hits Ulrich. The bludgeoning, the spiked like mass on the end of it crashing into you for 6 bludgeoning, 2 piercing. It's 8.
Got it.
And you may make an attack of opportunity as it bounds out of your range.
Hold on 1 second.
Miss.
Bardic Inspiration.
Ooh.
Add the D6.
Come on.
Do it.
14
hits.
Ooh.
Nice.
All the difference in the world right there.
Ooh.
Oh, Ulrich. As the thing like leaps up, getting ready to step away from you, I think we see you like step forward once, twice, and like woo, you extend with the hammer, bringing it down like right into the base of the thing's neck, and we hear its neck like shatter as it's like and it crashes into the rubble and the stone of the ground, gravel sliding away underneath it as its
Nice.
body like kind of rolls over limp, the tentacles like sort of twitching a little bit before they cease in motion, and the only sound now around you is the soft patter of the rain and the whipping of the wind as this storm has begun.
Eerie kind of like holding onto her hat. We should get to the village.
Oh yeah, how far are we about, Rich, from the village?
Well, from the camp, right? Weren't we heading out to the camp?
Sorry, the camp. Yes.
That's what
Yeah,
I was referring to. I apologize.
The Alagi camp is only an hour away. The village is like 2.
Okay, yeah.
From this point.
Yep.
It's just rain.
I don't want to lose my hat.
I'm going to place my hands on Stormbeard and give him some healing.
Oh, that's huge.
Excellent.
Yes.
Pretty beat up.
Well, your friend Crixus gives you 9 HP back as he
Appreciate
touches
it.
you.
Nice.
Eerie, with your knowledge check,
Yes.
you know that displacer beasts are rare creatures, and actually the tome in particular that you got your information from is one of the mage, the wizard in the village, your mentor, and one of the elders, Ursula Vandrin. And the specific notes about displacer beasts were the various components and magical elements to their physiology that can be harvested and used for spell casting and spell research and possibly even magical items. You know that their like coats are greatly prized, as well as their eyes can be used in like the casting of spells.
Okay. So, yeah, I kind of like
You don't have.
remember this and like look at the group and like, we need some way. We either need to come back in the morning or we need to find a way to get this to the village. This has a lot of important components that I could use, and so could Ursula.
Can
If
we
we
just
took
take them off now?
I mean, sure. Could, I guess.
I mean, we all have survival. I mean, would that
3 of us, at
qualify for like skinning, Rich?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
that.
I'm
Yep.
going to use I'm going to help Ulrich with his survival check.
You know,
Yeah, Eerie will kind of be there being like, you know,
Holrick
getting
isn't
in the
that
way.
wise, so maybe Holrick should help you.
That's
I
the
think-
kind of metagaming I love. Yeah.
You know, Holrick is not the brightest candle in the dark. Maybe you.
I think when Angus is helping you, it's in such a manner that he's doing most of it.
Okay.
And before he forgets, he's also going to cast Cure Wounds on himself.
Good call.
Do you want
So
to
you
roll
take a
it, or
moment to heal
you want me
yourself.
to?
Okay.
While
With advantage.
Crixus was healing you, I healed myself.
Got
But
it.
no, I will
Okay.
roll it. I can
Okay.
roll it.
So
Yeah,
I guess
Eerie's
we're
gonna be, like,
skinning it,
over-
picking the eyes out, right? Whatever else she needs.
yeah, over the
Okay,
shoulder,
Eerie-
pointing out all the different things.
Eerie is like monitoring. Angus pulls out this knife made of the bone of an owl bear, and Ulrich, you like drop to your knee next to him with the dagger, and Angus is like, "Careful, careful! No! Pull that! Hold it!
Just
Here-
give it to me."
Okay, I got it. Yeah. And so with the 20, it's going to take you like the better part of an hour to do this, but you can skin the whole thing and like remove the eyes, right? Do you have a vial, Eerie? Or a jar? You guys have anything like that?
Sure,
Anybody
I
got a
got
jar?
some.
If it's gonna take an hour, how is everybody looking? Are they Ulrich and Angus really beat up badly?
I'm in pretty good shape.
I'm
I look
fine.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do have medicine, so no lying.
I would imagine we should probably go right back to town if we have no way to actually preserve any of this stuff, or
Okay.
right?
I'm quickly taking a look.
Eerie, I yield to your judgment.
I mean, would we be fine going to the encampment and then just bringing it back in the morning?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can like definitely string up the skin at the
Yeah.
encampment. You know, they have like hide racks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You
I'm
could
sure
do
the
all that.
Alagi would kind of know about all that stuff. Can help us
Okay.
out.
What are you looking for, Kurt? You good?
I have a adventurer's pack, but I don't think that is any actual thing. my character sheet says adventurer's pack, and I was like, okay, what's in that? And I was trying to find that, and I go, there's explorer's
Clothes.
packs and dungeoneer's packs. I was just seeing if I had a jar.
Yeah.
We're gonna say I don't.
It's fine. It's
I'm
fine.
sure
You
I
guys,
have something.
Yeah.
You guys wrap the eyeballs up in like a handkerchief. This is not ideal. You need to get this thing in the glass. But c'est la vie. So with that, as the four of you are like finishing kind of bundling up this hide, wrapping it up, tying the like tentacles around it into like this big thing, and who's carrying it?
I can carry it. That's fine.
Ulrich.
Yeah.
Ulrich,
Everybody
like,
looks
you,
at the
you
dwarf.
heave it up over your shoulder, right? And you're like, all right. And so the four of you begin again. You start walking.
So we're continuing on to the Alagi camp, or are we changing course for the village?
Alagi camp,
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
I have no problem.
Alagi camp it is. So why don't you guys make perception checks?
Great. Ooh, there it is. There's the natural 20.
20!
Oh,
But get those out of the way. We're just going to get them out of the way now.
get him.
Oof. Yeah,
Yep.
you might as well.
16.
Yep.
I will point out if somebody was helping me, I would have nailed it. But, Yeah.
Okay. So, Eerie and Angus, as you guys now start walking, you're only traveling for 15 minutes or so. Not very far at all. I think that both of you, the storm is kind of beginning to gain some momentum. The rain is falling down in real drops now, heavy fat drops of water starting to soak into your cloak. Water is running off of the top of your hat, Eerie, and I think you peer up for a minute to wipe the water off, and you see the clear silhouette of a shape in the clouds, like something big and winged. Low in the clouds, right? It's right at the edge of your vision. You know how that thick rain almost acts like a mist itself. It's sort of obscuring. You can't really catch the details of it, but the pair of you catch the sight of this massive form, these big wings.
I do kind of I put my one hand on my staff. I put one hand up and kind of point up into the sky.
Angus kneels down to get also low and points the same thing, the direction Eerie is.
Does it seem to be coming closer?
It kind of sails way past you guys, and it vanishes out of sight for a moment. Didn't seem to be directly approaching you.
Okay. Are we in the trees? Are we in an opening?
No, you're on this exposed trail, this very kind of thin, precarious footpath on the side of this steep, nasty slope.
Is there a place we can see cover? Or not really?
Sure, there's a little bit of a rock overhang, a couple 100 feet up ahead. You can get underneath a little bit of cover if you want.
Yeah.
Should we? I asked everybody. Should we see cover for just a few minutes?
Yeah,
in case it
Eerie.
comes back around.
Eerie nods. Yeah. Moves forward.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So the four of you head up another couple 100 feet down this very thin trail, gravel sliding away under your feet, and there's this heavy overhang of kind of cliff, and you're able to pull yourself into the edge of it. The water much less torrential in this area. The wind is still biting and cutting, but there's more than enough space for you guys to spread out. There's sort of a big flat space as rock has fallen away underneath the side of this hill and left this little bit of a ledge reaching out over you,
Why would you spread out? Spoon!
Okay, so
Conserve
you
warmth.
guys get underneath this area,
With the bloody skin of the displacer beast.
Yeah.
Snuggle,
Yeah.
snuggle.
Erie's kind of like keeping her eyes on the sky, for sure.
Was it was it in the direction of the village? Was it in the direction of the camp? Was it just off in the distance?
Okay. It seemed to appear from the direction of where the hunters went, and it kind of passed you guys heading towards the direction of the village, roughly.
Oh.
And I think as you guys are sitting here, and Erie and Angus, you guys are like still eyes to the sky, right? And I think you see it like rematerializing, just barely the silhouette of it as it starts to like wheel down, and it begins to like get closer and closer. You point it out to your allies.
Oh,
is
yeah.
What you're saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
if
Crixus and Hallrick.
if Crixus and Hallrick haven't seen it, and it looks like Erie has, I would try to be like, no, just over that, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I kind of whisper like, maybe Rogash again?
Is this bigger than anything we've ever seen Rogash turn into?
You've seen him as a giant eagle, and so you guys look up, and now all four of you are looking at this silhouette, this winged form, and you see it like, whoosh, and then it like turns, as though like now it's coming straight towards you, and you're like, oh, is it Rogash?
Oh gosh.
I wonder.
Oh, we're like, oh gosh.
I wonder what it could be. I wonder.
Well, are we behind
with
cover at
that-
this point?
You're underneath this ledge,
All right.
right? And you're in kind of like, let's say like a 25 by like 20-foot section of kind of flat ground, right under this ledge. And the thing now is a solid, let me check myself. Sorry, bear with me. It's not a displacer beast.
It's up with wings.
Right. It's like a solid, like 80 feet away in the air, but it's now like close enough that you see it's a wyvern, a two-legged dragon-like creature. These enormous wings, much bigger than those of a giant eagle, spreading a solid 30 feet across, maybe longer. And it has this long, sinuous tail trailing in the air behind it, its feet tucked in tight underneath it. A wyvern is a terrifying creature, and all of you, I think, are able to recognize it pretty quickly because you've all been told that the wyverns, in and of themselves, while dangerous and not frequent up here, but certainly like they exist up here, their true danger lies in the fact that they're the mounts of the Sapphire Legion. And sure enough, you see like on its back in this like ornately constructed saddle is a figure, and you just in like, I think like there's a peal of thunder and a flash of lightning, and we see the reflection of this blue armor that it's wearing on the back of this thing, and we hear the wyvern like, and we see the rider kind of like peer up, and he begins to like pull a bow off his back and starts like stringing it.
All right.
Oh
I'm
gosh.
gonna take out my crossbow then.
And so with that, Ulrich's
Yeah, Erie points her staff.
crossbow.
How far away did you say it was?
About 80 feet.
Closing.
Okay, it came from the direction of the hunters.
Uh-huh.
Do we see any like visible blood on this creature or on the rider at all?
Nope.
Okay.
It's tough. It's 80 feet away in the rain, you know? Like, you can make out the details of it, but as, like, the lightning, like, explodes and there's that flash of light, like, you're like, oh, my God.
I purposely don't wash my car. I let the rain take care of it.
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
this rider,
it's raining.
this rider does the same thing. It could have been covered in blood, but it's been raining.
It's raining. Yeah.
But
man.
does it look to have seen us?
Oh, yeah.
That's pointing at
Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
Let me
It's
know
like
when I can
coming at-
shoot.
80
It's
feet?
coming at you guys.
I cast a
like,
fireball
in
at
beeline.
it.
Let's re-roll initiative real quick.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Come on, man.
Oh,
Oh, scheisse.
Shiza, she says.
Scheiße. Yeah, I swear.
We're probably going to wrap up a little bit after 11 for anybody who's like out there hanging out with us. This guy I need to put in here. Rider is going on a separate turn, right? 9. Got it. Oops. Okay, with that, who goes first?
Not it.
Hallrick, you are up. Trigger finger, Hallrick.
All right, we're going to fire a crossbow at the rider.
Got it.
Yes!
I will take it.
Hell yeah.
Drink.
Why don't you go ahead and roll damage? Do you still have a bardic inspiration?
How long was it last? It's been
10
15 minutes. Right? You said it's been 15, so
Yeah.
no.
Nah, it was longer than that to skin the displacer beast. I forgot. Okay. With the shot of a goddamn dwarven marksman. Like hold, you lead, and you hear this like whimpering, like scream as 14 points of damage you sink into the rider on the back of this thing. You see him like visibly recoil. The arrow like drops out of his hand as he's still like clutching the bow. Hallrick, that's your action. You have movement in a bonus action?
That's all I got, man. Yeah, unless, I know with Theater in Mind, is there anywhere to seek cover, or?
Yeah, you could definitely get yourself like quarter cover from missile attacks if you can like go, you duck behind like some of the outcropping on this like rock ledge, you know?
Okay, is there anybody else that has cover at this point, or no?
No, I think the 4 of you guys are still like out in the open. Nobody's really covered up yet.
Okay, given the history of what we've had going on, I'm going to try to move closer to Erie. I don't think the Wyvern will be carrying anybody off, but it's always a possibility.
You never know.
Step 1 in every battle is protect the sandwiches.
Yeah, we need our crazy uncle, right? We still need the salted meat chaff. I'm telling you, there's a market for this.
Unbelievable. Okay. Hallrick, you like race over and like pull yourself up against like the edge of the cliff outcropping, kind of covering part of your body from the angle of this guy on the Wyvern.
No, I'm flat out standing next to Erie, so she doesn't get carried off.
My bad. Thank you. I'm sorry.
It's cool.
I'm like multitasking.
I know.
You rush over standing next to Erie, and so with that, the Wyvern goes on 17.
Can I provide her cover behind me?
No. Nope, technically not. You could stand in front of her, you know what I mean? Okay. Surely. Actually, it does provide her cover because you're medium and she's small. I'll double check those rules, but I'm pretty sure. You step in front of her, you are like intercepting the Wyvern as now like you see its wings tuck back behind it and it begins to like drop, surging at like this incredible speed as it sails down at you guys. And with you like stepping out, Hallrick, like it comes right for you. And as like it's diving down at you, it veers at the last second and comes past you kind of like sideways, the tail like woof, surging out at you to strike. What's your AC? Oh, 18. You guys didn't see that because I have it on whisper, but it rolled a critical one.
No.
And so you're just like, whew, and you see it's almost like a scorpion, the end of the tail. This bulbous kind of ball with a hook off of it, but it's big. It's the size of your shield, like a dinner plate. And the spike, like you dance out of the way at the last second as it drags into the stone, just missing you. But it lashes out with one of its claws. Oh, double critical ones. What did I tell you guys at the beginning of the night? And I'm like, you like wheel the other way and its claws like grab. You hear actually like crack, as like one of its talons literally like shatters as it digs down into the rock. And with that, like it just heaves back off the ground with its leg flying past you. You don't have a melee weapon in your hand. No attack of opportunity.
Dude, I'll
Crixus
take a
Copperstone
swing at
up
it
on
and
14.
punch. You kidding me?
Go ahead, sure. Try to punch it.
Punch the wyvern.
Punch
Do
the
it.
wyvern.
Unarmed attack. As like it like just misses you the
All right,
second
so we're just
time
gonna roll a
with its
d20
talon.
on this, right?
Yeah, go for it. You can make a normal. Yeah, you could roll a d20. Sure. That hits. You punch the wyvern. What's your strength modifier?
Oh my God.
I got 17 strength, so +3.
Okay, Ulrich rolled a 14 with like his proficiency and his strength. Like he definitely hits it. So +3 on your strength. That's going to be, instead of 1 point of damage for a punch, you do 4. And you're just like clutching the crossbow in one hand, like BAM! You punch the wyvern like right in the ankle, you know? It's like Crixus Copperstone. You watch your dwarven friend punch the wyvern in the ankle, and you were up on 14.
Okay, I guess I'm going to cast a spell or say a prayer, and I do a dragon maw appears, a purple dragon maw appears and shoots out at the rider. There's a rider right still?
Yeah. You see the crossbow quarrel like plunged into his chest, blood pouring down the blue leather armor that he has. 16, we see Crixus, this purple dragon's maw appears and surges away from him, crashing into the rider, chewing down on him. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
For 12 points of radiant damage.
Nice.
Crixus, the dragon maw, like cleaves down into him, and we hear like the Wilhelm scream, I think, right? I'm like, "Whoa!" And like the guy like falls wildly off the back, his bow like spinning and clattering into the stone, and you hear him like crack smash into the stone, rolling down the hill in front of you. The wyvern now riderless. You have slain the rider. That was pretty impressive. Crixus, that was your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
A spectral dragon appears and attacks the wyvern.
Oh, he is the
Nice.
dragon summoner. The spectral dragon like appears in the air, like much smaller than the wyvern itself, glimmering in the darkness, the rain kind of passing through its incorporeal form, and it like lunges out, biting at the wyvern, but misses. Crixus, that's your action. Bonus action. Do you have movement?
I go seek cover.
Okay.
Everybody huddle behind Ulrich.
Yeah, right. I'm only one dwarf. Agus Brighthorn, you're up on 12.
I'm sorry, I was looking up wyvern punch on Urban Dictionary. Did we?
Yep.
Um,
Don't look too
no, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
So the driver, the driver, yeah. The driver is down, correct?
The driver is down. Yes.
I will cast Bane on the wyvern.
Okay.
So it gets it gets a charisma save.
Remember that tune?
Charisma saves are not great for wyverns.
Oh,
it-
it just made it.
Okay,
Oh.
it did just made it.
Oh.
Man.
Does it have disadvantage on its charisma save?
No, not
It's
today,
smiling
not
at
today.
you.
Yeah, he popped up on my screen. Thanks,
A
Rich.
pop-up smile. Do you remember
I am
Donkey from
going-
Shrek? It's Donkey
Oh.
from. It's like the evil version
No.
of Donkey from Shrek.
Oh my gosh. Please.
I have to sidebar right here because Kurt actually got to adventure with them for a short time, but I was DMing for a group earlier this fall, and the young man in the group was awesome, a great kid, and he was playing a half-orc barbarian named Shrek, and he was a cavalry rider from the military who was searching for his lost horse Donkey. It was just...
I had the
Art.
extreme pleasure of one night with that too. That was good.
Yeah. Oh, you did. That's
Yeah.
correct.
I
You did
only
join
heard the
us for that.
stories.
They were legendary. We'll get back there one of these days. With that, where are we? I don't remember.
Still
what
me.
happened.
I
I'm
was
blabbering.
I'm going to use as a bonus action. I'm going to use Bardic Inspiration once more on Ulrich, and this time though, because he did not seem to appreciate my Warhorn last night. He appreciated my Warhorn very much last night, but he did not appreciate my Warhorn this last battle. I am going to take out.
I love that that's your save. That's what you went to for the save. But anyway, go on.
I have what looks like a large copper bell around my neck. That's some of the Rothe. Is that how it's pronounced, Rich? The beasts of burden that are raised in the area. What's the
Roth?
Roth. He takes this Roth bell and takes a little bit like the dagger from his belt and starts clanging on the Roth bell to get Ulrich hyped up.
More bell.
More Roth bell, yes.
More Roth Bell. Love it.
More Roth Bell. He's got a fever. Okay. You start rocking your Roth Bell, and that's your turn. Is that it?
Yes. So I missed with my spell, and Ulrich is bardically inspired.
Yeah, Ulrich is one inspired dude. Eerie Vandrin, last but not least. You are tiny, but you are formidable. What would you like to do?
Indeed. Quick question. The rider, did we see what it was? Like,
Humanoid, helmeted with not helmeted, but they had like a leather kind of hood and like goggles on their face because they're like flying up on this thing. So you'll have to like investigate further to discern.
Gotcha. Okay.
But they were humanoid and like bigger than you,
Yes.
but shorter than Ulrich or Angus, you know.
Okay. Also, how far away is the wyvern from us?
The wyvern at this point is about like 30 feet up in the air.
Okay, 30 feet. All right. I'm going to point my staff and kind of bring it down and crack it against the stone, but we don't hear a sound coming from the stone. Instead, we hear the echo of a piercing, ringing sound from where the wyvern is, and I'll cast Shatter.
Oh, brutal. Okay, drop the shatter in the chat. DC 14 Constitution save. We hear this cracking explosion.
Oh,
20.
of course.
I'm getting my mojo back.
Yeah.
Still.
But it still takes half damage.
Yep, you do 7 points of thunder damage, and you hear it like... this terrible sound. Eerie, that was your action, movement, bonus action, anything like that?
I will stay.
Okay. Ulrich, you're up.
All right. I guess we're down to light crossbow, right? 30 feet away.
Okay.
So we still got the crossbow out.
You fire, and the bolt deflects off the hide of the wyvern, much tougher seemingly than the armor of its rider. That's your action.
Has Eerie moved, or is she still by my side?
She's right next to you, or behind you. Yeah.
All right, just want to make sure. I think that's it, man. So.
Okay. With that, on 17, the wyvern goes, and it's like wheels around. Its huge wings. And in like 3 pulls, it's vanished back up into the clouds, out of your line of sight. Crixus, you're up.
Boy.
You can't see it anywhere.
Well, I can't. If I can't see it, that's great.
Has Crixus achieved object permanency yet? Does he think the wyvern's still there at some point?
I guess I don't do anything then.
Okay, you're just like holding your ground. Angus, you do anything on your turn?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on where it looks like the rider fell, but I'm waiting to see if the wyvern reappears.
Okay. Eerie, your turn.
Can I hold an action in case it comes back?
Sure.
I'm gonna hold firebolt.
Okay. And Ulrich?
I don't think it's coming back. I think it doesn't have a rider. I think this battle was the rider's idea, not the wyvern. I think the wyvern's like, yeah, I'm leaving, so I'm going to go investigate the rider. And
Okay.
I think the first thing I'm going to do actually is secure the bow that he had in case it does come back.
Okay. So you rush away from Eerie, right? And you find yourself at like the edge of the precipice, the ground kind of sloping steeply away. And you see the rider's body like twisted and broken, right? About like another 20 feet down the hillside, or it probably is a little further than that, but you could start like making your way down. So initiative kind of like melts away. We fall out of initiative as like the next round begins. You guys are kind of peering at the sky, like it doesn't seem to appear.
Okay.
And Ulrich now is like dipping out of sight over the
Eerie
ridge.
kind of stops Ulrich. Like, wait, I mean, if you guys don't mind kind of slowly falling, we could get down there a little faster.
Or I've got rope.
Ulrich just looks at you and goes, if that creature's alive at all, then we need to recover it. It needs to be questioned.
Yeah, so
let's
if
move.
you want to, so if you want to get down there a little faster, then we all need to jump off the edge of the cliff.
Is it down a hill? Is it down a cliff? I mean, what's the situation with the rider?
It's like it's a steep ridge. It's not quite like a sheer cliff or anything like that.
We need to get back up, so it doesn't make sense for us all to jump off. Let's. I will tie a rope. I come lower my rope with you, whether you want to climb down the rope or you want to. We might want to haul the body up to that. To your.
Ulrich's just
So we
going
should
for
connect
it.
a
They can
rope.
keep going.
Okay, Ulrich doesn't give a shit, man. He's just like he's like ignoring while you guys are planning. He's like moving down.
We have like
the,
moments,
screen
right? If
hillside.
this thing's still alive, to patch it up, you know.
And so we see Angus like giving Eerie the rope, like, okay, go down, like tie the thing to it. And so Eerie, are you just gonna jump down there and feather
Eerie,
fall? Is that what's happening?
she like turns to Crixus and is like, "Do you want to jump with me?"
Let's not all go down there.
No, Angus, you're gonna stay up, right? With the rope? Yeah. I would like to investigate it. Crixus, would you like to come with?
I'm okay. I'll stay with Angus just in case.
Okie dokie.
Crixus, the draconic-looking youngling of the group, kind of hangs next to the lean Minotaur. As tiny Eerie, you're like, you jump off the cliff, you know, and it's steep enough that like you're able to like you cast your feather fall and start to like sail down. And as Ulrich is like reached the body and grabs it, kind of rolls it over, he's got the bow in one hand, right? You come like fluttering to the ground next to him, landing like ever so lightly, your tiny little gnomish feet. And so you guys pull this rider, you roll him over. You see that he's wearing this leather armor, and he's got a leather hood over his head, and these goggles with kind of these clear crystal lenses on the front of them. He has the short bow and a quiver of arrows next to him. Most of the arrows are gone, having fallen out of the quiver. The other half of them are probably broken. The bow itself is like banged up and beat up. He's got a short sword at his belt and a small dagger. And as you pull the goggles and like the hood back, as you come running down, Eerie, you see that it's a humanish figure, but with these pointed ears, these thinner pointed ears. And their head is cut like very short, cropped in kind of like this flat top. And you could see a tattoo on their neck, like vanishing down underneath the armor.
I'll like can I like pull back the armor, like?
Sure, you
to see
grab
the
the armor
tattoo?
and start pulling it, and I think Ulrich, you probably like realize
Is this dude's dead or?
Yeah, he's shattered and broken badly. Right. You realize that like you just missed his heart with the crossbow bolt, but between like Crixus's dragon maw and the fall from like 40 feet up in the air down like 60 feet, like he's donezo.
Does it look like there's previous signs of battle? on him? Like, is he injured anywhere else, or?
Nope. Nope. There's like this burning kind of around him, and then mainly just your crossbow bolt. He doesn't have blood on his weapons. You know, he doesn't have any like wounds. The armor looks like actually like pretty clean and meticulous. Like honestly, like it's been painted blue, and it looks like it hasn't been in that many fights.
So I look at Uri, I go, no trace. We leave no trace of him here. Everything comes out. The broken arrows, everything. So has the rope made its way down yet? Like, can we tie a rope around it?
Yeah, Erie's got the rope in her hand. Yeah, so you start tying the rope around his body, and I think we see Erie like beginning to prowl around, picking up like shattered, broken arrows, grabbing the bits of refuse that like fell off of this guy as he cartwheeled off the top of his mount to the ground.
Like use prestidigitation to kind of like help clean up anything.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've never thought of prestidigitation being used to like help foil a crime scene.
Yeah.
The rain is like falling heavy around you. There's another blast of thunder and a lightning arcs like lighting up the clouds in the sky, right? You know those moments where like the lightning like just lights the clouds up. And Crixus and Angus, you guys standing at the top of the hill, you're looking down as Ulrich and Erie are gathering this stuff, and the pair of you look up as the thunder peals.
I take the metal ring from off of the horn on my head. I just realized that that's kind of a very nice.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
in this world, gold's a conductor. I don't know if it is, but then I will put it on my war horn.
Crixus, you hear a voice in the back of your mind. Well, I hope you're ready, son. The storm has arrived. And as the lightning flashes, illuminating the clouds, you see at least a dozen shapes of wyverns high above you in the air, moving in the direction towards the village of Erkengard.
No.
And that, my friends, is where we will leave our adventure tonight. Dun, dun, dun!
No,
That's the first session.
Woo! And oh no!
Well,
Dang it! Oh.
I hope that was fun for you guys. I hope it's equally frustrating for me to leave you on this point. Ha ha!
Damn it! Everybody's gonna.
Man.
Everything
What
we've
do you
ever
guys
known
think?
and loved is gonna be gone.
What do you guys think? How was that?
We barely
That's great.
survived one wyvern.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
I'm getting ready to field dress this humanoid.
That's what you guys do. You field dress everything.
Damn
You
it.
give us survival as a free skill. We're going to field dress the hell out of whatever we kill.
So I'll take a minute here now that we're at the end. Anybody who like is a D&D nerd or a little aware of it. So Abrea is my homebrew world. The nature of the world is such that like there's these kind of regions, right? And these guys have grown up in the wild parts of the world, and for that they've gained a couple of little bonus things. Depending on your cultural background, you get kind of like a bundle of skills and tricks to kind of start off with. So these four, having grown up in the wilderness, have the survival skill, and I believe they're a little quicker and wiser than other folks might be in the world. But yeah, that's it. That's session 1 of Firelight Tales. That's the name of the show. The adventure is the Titan's Heir, and that's session 1. We did it, guys. We did it. We live streamed on Twitch.
Nice.
Hey, everybody in the chat, thank you guys. Bottom of my heart, for real. Thank you all for coming. That's really cool to see some friendly faces and familiar folks in there. And yeah, there we go.
Did it.
Nice.
So we will be back with episode 2 next week on Monday. At about 9 o'clock. It'll be the same kind of deal. We're aiming for 9. We'll probably start just a little bit after that as we wait for everybody to get home and get situated. I know these are shorter sessions than maybe you're accustomed to, but we're going to be playing generally from like 9 to 11 in that sweet spot, a little bit give or take. And that's it.
That's it.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. You guys want to say anything to the folks before we go? Anywhere that we can find you? Anything you're working on? You want to plug? You want to get hype about?
My Twitter's there. Nothing exciting.
Yep. At Kurt Clark on most of your major and minor social media platforms. 2 C's.
Listen, he's being humble. If you want to see dope pics of incredible food, you go follow Kurt Clark.
Yeah, honestly, Kurt, your feed makes my entire life.
Life goals, aspirations someday that I can eat as well as Kurt does. And Taylor also being very humble. It's okay if you don't want to hype yourself up. Taylor is, in fact, a highly competent writer. She writes really cool stuff. I don't know if she's got a space on the internet to find that, but she will.
I have a WordPress website. There is a link in my Twitter bio.
Awesome. Go check that out if you want to read
poetry.
Cool stuff. John, we can find you here next week.
Yeah.
On Twitch TV/DM Philly next Monday night at 9, right?
Absolutely.
Mike, how about you, man?
You can find me here too next week.
Goddamn right we can.
So
he's also
crazy
being
right now. So, but soon maybe I will be.
Mike made a new Twitter account for the sake of this. Do me a favor, guys. Go follow Mike on Twitter. That'll be awesome because he needs the hype. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Episode 1, Firelight Tales. That's it for tonight.
Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody.
Good night.
See you next time.